Arise, O compatriots, Nigeria's call, obey to serve our fatherland with love and strength and faith.
Nigeria's global trading position. After independence, Nigeria was a major exporter of produce, being, for instance, the world's second largest exporter of palm oil, also well established in markets for rubber, cocoa and groundnuts. Today, its share of global trade has declined to the point where little agricultural produce is seen in the world's markets. Nigeria is the sleeping giant of Africa in agriculture. It has a strong position in the production of a number of crops. What is the project and why is it needed? The project is about the construction of export conditioning and processing centres in the 6 geopolitical areas, focused on selected agricultural products where Nigeria can have a comparative advantage in export markets, initially yams, sweet potatoes, mangoes, pineapples, vegetables, sesame seeds and gum arabic. The country needs to extend its food value chain, the shelf life of its produce and its productive capacity in relation to export markets. The success of the project will be reflected in food security, the creation of rural employment, a contribution to poverty reduction and the achievement of Millennium Development Goals. Countries such as China, Japan, Malaysia, Singapore and South Korea are excellent examples of how expansion of economic activity can lead to delivering so many from poverty, around 300 million people. In Africa, countries such as Ghana and Kenya can be cited as good examples of what is possible in terms of export activity. In East Africa, Kenya currently earns $3 billion from vegetable exports alone. In West Africa, Ghana supplies 70% of the European market for yams, but produces only 3.7 million tons, compared to Nigeria's production of around 28 million tons. Nigeria's yam production is 70% of world production. Côte d'Ivoire sells 17% of world-traded pineapples, but only produces 184,000 tons, compared to Nigeria's 889,000 tons. Mauritius is an example of a developing country which has fully exploited the US AGOA legislation for preferential access to this $22 trillion market. The Nigerian story. Currently, a significant percentage of produce goes to waste because of poor storage, product selection and packaging. In international markets such as EU and US, single instances of pest infestation can lead to the destruction of a complete shipment and the prosecution of the importer under EU and US legislation. Such problems tarnish Nigeria's image. Supplying overseas markets requires significant effort and resources to ensure the following: network of conditioning and export processing centres which assure consistent temperature ranges, safety and environmental integrity of produce, establishing acceptable supply chains, including cold chain facilities from the farm to the end customer, demonstrating traceability from food table to market, robust quality assurance procedures, skills training, good quality packaging and compliance with regulatory procedures. Roles of the public and private sector. Neither the public sector nor the private sector can solve these issues on their own. The project will follow the public-private sector model successfully pursued elsewhere in the country. The role of the federal government is to pump prime, to facilitate the project and to assist in the enabling of a regulatory environment by supporting the construction of conditioning centres in the 6 geopolitical areas of the country and resolving related infrastructural weaknesses. The role of the state government is to match fund support, to allocate land and assist with infrastructural issues. The private sector will be the lead partner in the execution of the project by a financial contribution to the project, project implementation and management. First Produce is the lead consultant to the federal government. It conceived, designed and developed the project. It is available to support the planning, implementation and monitoring of the project, working with the core investors to provide ongoing skills and capacity development. First Produce is to contribute its knowledge, international connectivity, skills, technical expertise and experience for the design, planning, development and management of the project. Post-harvest technologies, skills and compliance with food quality standards and certification, as well as the development of export market access and a distribution network together with integrated supply chain management. Administration of the project and model farm, including cultivation, disease, pest control and marketing. It will use its in-house expertise, production and international market network to provide research and backup. Training expertise for the training of Nigerian staff in modern horticultural practices, export quality standards and disease control techniques to ensure effective technology transfer. First Produce is supported by key UK partners in the agricultural sector who are familiar with conditions in Nigeria. Site facilities. The centres are to be placed in a 4HA area and each centre would have an adjacent model farm. The development diagram sets out the broad structure of the project, including linkages between agriculture and other key aspects of the project, such as healthcare, education and employment creation. There's a social inclusion programme. Each conditioning centre has regional collection centres. Funding and projected returns. Preliminary budgets have been completed for the project, broadly estimated at 24 billion naira for 12 centres, 2 per socio-economic centre. The federal and state governments will retain a minimum of 30% interest in the project. Exports in the first year are projected at 10% of current total production overall. Benefits: employment creation, increased food production, productivity and food security. 10,000 farmers trained, 1,000 trainers, extension workers. Diversification of non-oil export economy. Full development of supply chain, including supply to retail chains in the country. Concluding, whenever Nigeria private sector is set free, we get the dividend. Telephony, 1 million to 40 million lines in 8 years, and over $15 billion call volume. Bank recapitalization. Nigeria has 5 of Africa's biggest 10 banks. Nigeria Stock Exchange, the most profitable in the world. Oil and gas, aviation. But the best is yet to come, and that is in the food industry. Adding value. Grow Africa's components are adding value, processing and packaging, education and skills training, pre- and post-harvest management, employment creation, ethical trading, fairer trade, environment, carbon competitive, healthcare, food hygiene, health and safety, disease prevention, procedures, lodgement of project design and specification, expressions of interest from core investors, pre-qualification, final bidding and evaluation, contracting, implementation, monitoring framework. First Produce